Will you still love me? The night Kim Woo-bin's heart shattered because of Bea Suzy'S Betrayal, a fictional emotional love story of betrayal, confession, and the fragile hope of forgiveness. The night air in Seoul was unusually warm for November, the kind of night that wrapped you in comfort, that whispered promises of safety, love, and routine. But for Kim Woo-bin, nothing about that night was comforting. Nothing about it was routine, because that was the night he found out the woman he loved, the woman he had planned his future around, had broken his heart in the one way he never saw coming. Bea Suzy had cheated on him. The whisper that changed everything. It started with a message. A close friend had texted him, hesitating but concerned. "Hyung, I don't know how to tell you this, but I saw Suzy at a bar last week. She wasn't alone, and they weren't just talking." Woo-bin didn't believe it at first. He trusted her, deeply, blindly. Suzy wasn't just his girlfriend. She was his safe place, the anchor that steadied him through years of health battles and career pressure. But the photos told a different story. There she was, Suzy, smiling in someone else's arms, his hand on her waist, her face inches from his. And then, a kiss. His world turned cold. He didn't wait. That night, he drove to her apartment, hands gripping the wheel so tightly his knuckles went white. His mind spun with disbelief, hurt, fury, but more than anything, grief. She opened the door, surprised to see him. "Woo-bin? You didn't call." He stepped in without a word, his expression unreadable. "Where were you last Friday night?" She blinked. "What?" "Don't lie to me. Please. I'm giving you a chance to tell the truth." Her silence was answer enough. The tears welled before the confession came. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "I didn't mean for it to happen." He felt like the ground dropped beneath him. "You didn't mean to kiss another man?" His voice trembled. "You didn't mean to betray everything we built?" "I was confused, lonely. You were working late, and we've been so distant lately, and he was just there." Woo-bin stared at her, as if looking at a stranger. "I was working late building a future for us, while you were kissing someone else." Bea Suzy fell to her knees, sobbing. "I made a mistake, a horrible, selfish mistake, but it meant nothing. He meant nothing. I swear to you, I love you. I only love you." Woo-bin turned away, eyes glassy. "I don't know if love survives this," he murmured. She crawled to him, clutching his hands. "Please, Woo-bin, please don't leave me. I don't want anyone else. I'll never forgive myself for what I did. I'll spend the rest of my life proving to you that I'm still yours." He pulled away, voice breaking. "But I'm not sure I still belong to you." After he left her apartment that night, he wandered the streets alone. Every cafe, every corner, every bench. They were memories. The ramen place they'd found during a rainstorm. The bookstore she used to drag him into. The bridge where she first said, "I think I'm falling in love with you." He remembered the way she laughed, how she'd curl into his chest when she was tired, how her fingers always found his in crowded rooms. And now, every memory was stained. In the days that followed, Suzy didn't stop trying. She sent letters, texts, flowers, voicemails. "Please just talk to me. You don't even have to forgive me. Just let me explain one more time. I'm not sleeping. I'm not eating. I just want to see you. I still believe in us." But Woo-bin said nothing. He was angry, devastated, but mostly scared, because the truth was he still loved her. That love didn't vanish. It remained like a bruise, tender and sore, but there. He didn't know if he could live without her, but he also didn't know if he could live with what she did. 1 week later, his longtime friend and co-star sat him down. "Do you still love her?" he asked. Woo-bin didn't hesitate. "Yes." "Then ask yourself this. What hurts more, the betrayal or the thought of never holding her again?" Woo-bin went quiet. His heart knew the answer. He texted her, "Meet me tonight, the cafe near Han River, 9 p.m. When she walked in, her eyes were swollen from crying. She looked smaller, like she'd shrunk under the weight of regret. "I didn't think you'd come," she said softly. "I almost didn't," he replied. They sat across from each other, silence stretching between them. "I've gone over that night in my head 100 times," she began. "What I could have done differently. What led me to mess up something so beautiful." He looked down. "Why him?" "It wasn't about him. It was about me being weak and lost and not talking to you like I should have. But I swear to you, Wu Bin, it stopped the moment I realized what I was doing. I couldn't go through with anything else. Because you were still in my heart." He clenched his fists. "You broke me. I know. I don't trust you. I know. I'm afraid I'll never look at you the same again." She reached out, tears spilling again. "Then let me remind you who I was before I lost your trust. Let me become that woman again. Let me earn you back." That night, Wu Bin didn't take her home. But he didn't walk away either. They sat by the river for hours, saying little, breathing together in the silence. At one point, she rested her head on his shoulder cautiously. He didn't move. "I miss you," she whispered. "I miss me too," he replied. "The me who believed we'd last forever." Weeks passed. They didn't rush back into anything. Wu Bin needed time, and Suzy gave it to him. She stopped begging. She started proving. She showed up for him, not with gifts or apologies, but with patience, presence, and truth. She helped his mother with groceries. She quietly supported his film comeback behind the scenes. She wrote in a journal every day, letters to him she never pressured him to read. And slowly, he let her in again. But trust is not a door you can simply reopen. It's a house you have to rebuild. Their story isn't over. They're not the same couple they once were. But maybe they could be something new, wiser, wounded, but still willing. When asked in a rare interview about forgiveness, Kim Woo Bin said, "Forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting. It means choosing to keep loving despite the scar. I'm still learning how to do that." And when Suzy was asked about him, her answer was simple. "He's my once in a lifetime. I just hope I get the chance to be his again." No one knows. Not yet. Some days his heart softens. Other days, the wound aches too much. But one thing is certain. Love, real love, isn't always clean or perfect. Sometimes it breaks. But sometimes it finds a way to be whole again, even after betrayal, even after silence, even after the worst night of their lives. Because love is also this, a choice every single day to stay or walk away. And as long as they're both still trying, maybe, just maybe, there's still something worth saving. Had been 3 months since that November night. 3 months since Kim Woo Bin had looked into Bea Suzy's eyes and seen not warmth, not safety, but betrayal. 3 months of questions with no answers. 3 months of watching her try, gently, painfully, to rebuild something she wasn't sure he wanted anymore. Yet he hadn't let her go, and she hadn't stopped hoping. Good luck at the script reading. I saw your interview. You look tired. Eat something. It's snowing. Remember our first kiss. Suzy never pushed. She never asked if they were still together, never dared to speak of the future. And Woo Bin never told her to stop. But he also never let her in fully again. There was a wall between them now, built of silence, grief, and shattered trust. Every time she looked at him, she saw the man she'd loved so deeply and the man she'd broken. And every time he looked at her, he saw the woman who had once been his world, and the woman who had crushed it in a single night. They hadn't seen each other in person since the river, not until the Beck Sang Awards. Both were nominated. Both arrived separately. And both were completely unprepared for how it would feel to stand mere feet apart again, dressed in black and silver, looking flawless and absolutely broken inside. Suzy saw him first, standing near the stage, laughing politely with a co-star. But his eyes were tired, distant. She walked past him, slowly. Their eyes met. He gave a polite nod. She gave a small smile. That was it. The moment passed in seconds, but it left her winded, as if the air had been knocked from her lungs. Later that evening, Suzy stood in the hallway backstage, trying to breathe. The pressure of cameras, flashing lights, people asking about her new drama. It was all too much. Then suddenly, a voice behind her. "Do you want to get out of here?" She turned. Woo Bin, not cold, not angry, Just exhausted. Like her. She nodded. They didn't speak much in the car. Just the hum of the road beneath them and the city lights blurring past. Then Suzy whispered, "Did you mean it that night? When you said you weren't sure you still belonged to me?" He kept his eyes on the road. "Yes," he said. "I meant it." She swallowed hard. "And now?" A long pause. "I don't know." She looked away, tears welling again. "I think about it every day. What I did, what I destroyed. I think about it too," he admitted. "More than I want to." They ended up parked in front of a building they'd once dreamed of moving into. Back when things were good. Before secrets. Before pain. Suzy stared at it. "Remember how you said the balcony was where we drink wine on rainy days?" She said, voice trembling. He smiled faintly. "And you said you'd turn the second bedroom into a piano room." "I never bought the piano." "You never moved in." Silence stretched again. Then she asked, "Do you ever think we'll make it?" "I don't know," he said honestly. "Some days I want to try. Some days I want to forget you." Those words cut deeper than any fight ever could. She nodded slowly. "I deserve that," she whispered. "But I still choose you." A few days later, Woo Bin found himself on the set of his new drama, watching a scene where the male lead screamed at the woman who cheated on him, accusing, devastated, shattered. But when the scene ended, the actor, unlike Woo Bin, got a resolution, forgiveness, a chance. And it hit him like thunder. That was fiction. My story doesn't have a script. I have to write the ending myself. That night, he showed up at Suzy's place unannounced. She opened the door, surprised. Her eyes searched his. He stepped in slowly. "I had a dream," he said, "that I forgave you." She held her breath, and it felt like breathing again. She blinked back tears. "And when you woke up?" "I didn't know what to do with that feeling." He looked at her long and hard, then asked the question she never thought she'd hear again. "Would you stay if I told you I'm still trying?" Suzy didn't speak. She just walked over and wrapped her arms around him, not like a woman who had won, but like one who knew the war wasn't over, and she would keep fighting. Kim Woo Bin didn't promise anything that night. "No, I forgive you. No, let's start again." But he didn't leave either. And for Suzy, that was enough for now. Sometimes love doesn't roar. Sometimes it doesn't heal cleanly. Sometimes it limps, crawls, cries in the dark, but it still moves forward, however slowly. And that night, they took one more step, not toward forgetting, but maybe toward forgiveness.